What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new video. Oh, hold on, wrong channel. Anyway, for those that got it, you get it. But anyway, hey guys, well, welcome to another video with me, Mr. T. Meant to talk, Mr. T. This channel is really all about just kind of sharing all the different things that we aspire to, things that we're sort of navigating, whether it's through life, whether it's like finances, mental health, spirituality, politics, dare I say, and some other things. But anyway, I wanted to get into this video about this is a different type of video than the other videos you guys have seen me done. If you're coming back to this channel, if you have come back to this channel, seen other videos. For those of you guys that are new, as I said before, this is a channel where I just try and share all kinds of stuff, different topics, politics, sport, mental health, spirituality, marriage, family, all that good stuff. But this was a different a video, and it's one I really thought I wanted to do because, well, it's appealing to a lot of people, I think anyway, and I think it's a lot of things people will be thinking about at this time of their lives, basically if you're in your 30s and 40s, and if you're thinking about investing, then this is the video for you because I've been doing a little bit of investing, and as I've gotten older, I've kind of well, let's just say I'm headed towards I'm headed towards sort of maximizing my investments and how much I give. So I'm just going to cover in this video maybe two or three stocks and shares that you can invest in if you're thinking about investing. I should also point out and put a little disclaimer out there that I'm not a financial planner. I'm not a financial expert. I'm not a financial guru or an investment guru. These are things that just I know based on things that I've researched, what I've seen other people do. I studied a little bit about the stock market, and I know some of the reservations people might have is just like, oh, stock market, stocks and shares is another get rich quick scheme. This is none of that. This is just raw, individual, honest contributions for myself based on the research that I've done. And it's things that I do myself. So I'll never come on here and tell people, or say things just for clickbait or views or whatever. This is just me being honest because, hey, I've been through that process myself. So yeah, so stick around because I wanna share with you some of the stocks and shares that I think are worth doing. And this isn't about get rich quick scheme. This is all about people like if you're in your 30s and your 40s, or even younger, or even older, but primarily 30s and 40s, because that's where people tend to, according to research, people tend to worry about things like pensions and they haven't invested in enough, they haven't saved enough, and all that kind of stuff. The good news is we're living in a time where this kind of information is readily available online, and I just want to help uh, eradicate some of the things that people might be worried about. Or if people don't know what to do, they want to, be maybe in your 30s and your 40s, or even your 20s, as I said, or even older, and you're like, hey, I'm running out of time, or you think it might be too late. There's no such thing in this day and age with the amount of knowledge that we have, with the way the internet works, the many types of apps and resources available. It's not too late. I'm here to tell you it's not too late. You can do it. I used to think the same, and I've got into a space now where I know that that's not the case. So stick around, and yeah, let's get into it. Yeah. So as I said, if you've been thinking about investing for a long time, or you're in that age bracket I just mentioned before, there are three stocks um, that I personally would vouch for, and some that I've invested in myself that I think are very much worth it. And if I was starting on £100, maybe just £200 a month, because let's be honest, things are really tight and difficult for a lot of people right now, especially in the UK and a lot of the world, Europe, US, wherever you're watching this video from. It's very difficult because of the economic factors and what's going on economically. to be able to, because some people say, hey, Mr. T, like, how am I supposed to come up with, where am I going to get £100 from? You can start with £50. I mean, you can start with as low as £10, £20. The idea of investing this amount of money, or starting from as little as you can, is that this is going to be something that you do long term. So as I said in earlier in the intro to this video, is that this is not about get rich quick schemes. This is not about, I'm not talking about Bitcoin. I'm not suggesting that you invest and you've got to you invest £100 and you want to make £200 by next week or next month. This is not the video for you. I repeat, if you're looking at get rich quick scheme, like things like I'm not saying Bitcoin is, but it's just an example, because people tend to monitor that a lot more because of its volatility. But what I'm saying is, if you're this is not trading, so if you're into those kinds of things where you're trying to make £100 or £1,000 by the end of October 15th, October 30th. I'm putting this video out on October 9th, I believe, or the 8th, October 8th. And if you're thinking, I want to get rich quickly, this is not the video for you. This is for people that want long-term investment, or at least thinking about long-term investment. So somebody that's either got a 401k or like your private pension at work, or even a government pension, whatever they call it now, a SIP, or you want to invest for future towards saving for a house, because there's other opportunities with other things. You can do things like Help to Buy scheme. I'm not sure that's still there, but it might still be there. But this is specifically for people that want to do long-term investment, so 5 years to 10 years. And here's the thing. Right, I'm going to tell you what it is. I want to tell you what some of those stocks and shares you can invest in, because this is all based on long term. So the first one I'm going to mention is the S&P 500, and I'm mentioning this one purely because it's one of the most popular ones. The S&P 500 primarily focuses on stocks within the US, and it focuses on a lot of the tech companies. I think they're called the Magnificent Seven. So there's like your Tesla, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Netflix. I've missed one. Did I mention Microsoft or Google? Yeah, that's six. Seventh one, it's escaped me. But S&P 500 is one of the best stocks out there, and it's been one of the most high-performing stocks for a while. And the reason I mentioned this one is that one particular reason is the S&P 500 has been doing quite well. And recently, when Trump came in the office and he obviously started announcing all these tariffs, it was suggested that a lot of the stocks and shares, particularly like the S&P 500, because they invest in a lot of stocks within the US, was going to fall behind or dip. I think it did kind of dip, but then it ended up having one of its highest or career high, if you want to call it that. And this has been through Trump's reign, if you like, or recent reign. So what that showed is that investing in stocks and shares and investing in companies. First of all, the S&P 500 is an ETF, so it's an exchange traded fund, which means that it's run by, or it has a lot of stocks within it. So I think it's I can't remember exactly how much, but at least a few thousand. And one exchange traded fund is good for is that it's a bit different than like investing for, like, say, a Tesla or single shares in, like, say, Tesla or Amazon and stuff, because if that company goes down, then that's it, all your shares are gone. The advantage of investing in an exchange traded fund is that it's made up of a whole bunch of stocks. So it's kind of like a cake. So you can have your cake and eat it. So it's kind of like having a cake with all the different slices of cakes. So no matter how many slices of cakes you take out, that cake is still going to be how should I put it? Solid, because it's made up of other different layers and different slices of cake. And the reason I use that analogy is that it's made up of different types of stocks. So if one underperforms, basically what happens is they take that one out and they replace it with another one. So I can't remember the guy that came up with this, but he came up with this exchange traded fund because he wanted to reduce the amount of risk investors would have if they wanted to invest in the stocks exchange. So what it did is it made a whole load of people become more, I guess, excited and want to invest in the stocks and shares. So that's one of the reasons why I like the S&P 500. So some people might say, oh, because it focuses a lot on the US market alone. But let's be honest, the US market is one of the biggest, if not one of the strongest in the world. And if it can ride a wave like Trump, then I'm sure pretty much long term, it could be advantageous. Now, I go back to my disclaimer saying that this is not necessarily financial advice because stocks can go up as well as down. Now, it's really important for me to point out that the stock market, I think since its inception, like maybe 1920s, if you look at the curve from the sort of the 1920s till today, it's always had a trajectory that's basically just gone up. And that's obviously over a long period of time. Now, there's certain dips, like, things like, World War One, World War Two. Was World War One happened before 1920s? I think it did, like 1918, I think. Yeah, I think so. But anyway, if we use World War Two as an example, which is obviously 1940s, the stock market, but yes, people were still investing even before then, during and after. That's the crazy thing about the stock exchange. And I think because these things are not taught in schools, or they're not taught in universities, or they're not taught to us by our parents, unless if you grew up having parents that were quite knowledgeable about the stock exchange, they would have told you to invest. I actually remember reading a story about a young person that was gifted 1,000, I think it was like 1,000 US dollars, and that gift was given with the stipulation that if you, with this money, you have to invest it. They invested in Bitcoin, and then I think when Bitcoin blew up, they made $1 million. But anyway, totally different because that's Bitcoin. But anyway, the point is that over a length of time, the curve, and I'll try and put still shots in here so that you guys can see. So if you can see it here, you know what I'm talking about, just to reference. So the stock market, since its inception, I think around the 1920s, has always had a curve that's gone up, sort of like this. And if you can see it there, you can see it. And it's always been like this. Now, through that transcendency, if you want to call it, there's always been certain dips. But what it shows is that if you invested, let's just give an example, 1980 or let's use Microsoft as an example. If you invested $1,000 in Microsoft, like maybe when it first came out in the 80s or 90s, whatever it is, I'm pretty sure you have a pretty sizable return today. And that's just because over a long period of time, it's hard to argue that certain stocks and shares fall flat. Now, the advantages of ETFs like the S&P 500 is that if you leave your money in there for a long period of time, the chances are very high that you would have a sizable return. Bear in mind that's based on how much you invest. Okay, so that's the only stipulation, and that's the only disclaimer that I would put in there. So if I was starting for £100, anything between from as low as £10 to 150, I would start by putting it in an S&P 500, and that would be just one fund. The other fund that I would invest in, by the way, that's the Vanguard S&P 500. You find that there are other variations of the S&P 500 from other companies that do it. I think Wisdom Tree is another example. Gosh, what other ones can I think? I can't think of any. But for me personally, Vanguard S&P 500 would be the one, because that would be long term. It's in a very strong market, which is the US. It's very tech heavy, and yeah. So if I was saving up, whether it's for a house, or if I have a pension and I want to have access to cash, because that's what you'll be able to do. And I'll go into some of the platforms that you can invest. If we have time in this video, there might be another video, but those are the ones that I would start with, and the pros and cons of investing in different types of platforms. But that's going to come in another video. So in this video, S&P 500, anything from as 10 pounds so much as 150, because I feel like that's a nice entry point. And what I would be doing is looking to increase it maybe on year. So if you start with £10 a month, maybe next year go to 20, or just do whatever you're happy with. But the benefit of it is that it's long term. The second one I would go for if I was starting investing for the first time is the Vanguard All World. Now, the Vanguard All World is one for people that don't want to be heavily invested in American stocks, although a large proportion of it would still be investing in the American market. I think the Vanguard All World is about 60%. So it's similar to the S&P 500, but it has more of a focus on the rest of the world, and it is quite tech heavy. So you still got the companies that I mentioned before in the S&P 500. So like your Teslas, your Amazon, your Netflix, your Microsoft, all those good ones. And let's be honest, a lot of those with the focus on AI in the future are going to be really important. So that's the second one I would do. Do I have a third one? Um, Not for now. I think I would stick to those two, just purely because I want to keep things simple. So, if you're like me, if you're somebody in your 30s or 40s, I'm not going to reveal what my real age is because that's not the point of the video is. So I'm just targeting it. Those people in your 30s and 40s. If you're not sure, but you want to invest, and it's something that you've this always been on your heart, and you don't know quite how to do it, is I would start with those two companies. And here's the beauty of it. If you want to start today and you don't have much time to research, you could start investing in it today and then leave it in there for a few months. I mean, the whole point of it is that you do it consistently, because that's another part of this. It's all about doing it consistently. You can't put £10 in there today and then next month you stop to do it. Your money will grow, but we're talking about long-term investment to get a return. And the other thing I failed to mention is that together with that graph, they've shown that on average, the stock market has made a return of 8%, right? And that's 8%. Probably over time. So if you can think about it, if you're investing every year, that means your money is giving you a return, and it's better than sticking it in a bank account. I'm not saying you can't do it in a bank account, because that's not what this purpose of this video is. If you want to put your money in a bank account, that's fine. That's totally up to you. You can do that. But if you also want to see your money grow, you can also put it in the stock market. Let's remember, people have done this for years. And I think I just want to reiterate that investing in single stocks and shares is much more riskier than investing in, say, an ETF, an exchange traded fund. So this video is for people that are in your 30s and your 40s and you're looking to invest in the stock market and you don't know how. These are the ones that I would start with, because those are the ones I started with. You might be somebody that's a little bit differently. Maybe your thing is not tech. Maybe you have more thing about energy. So say, for example, I think the UK government by 2030 or 35 are trying to move towards more sort of energy related or they want the UK to be more focused on saving things like fuel, so using more electrical cars, and they're trying to get things like more solar power, more energy efficient things. So energy companies might be a thing. So that's something you can start now. Again, 10, 20 pounds, 50 pounds, whatever you do. Put that in a stock market or an ETF that covers many different types of energy firms. And as I mentioned before, it's a simple case of where one's not doing well. Literally, the people that manage those funds will literally pick it out and put another one in there. And look, if we're all serious about investing for the future, maybe we didn't do it in our 20s, because let's be honest, when we're all in our 20s, we're all having a jolly good time, right? But when you get to your 30s and 40s, you have to think more strategically. You're not always going to be working. You're not always going to be, spring chicken all your life. And this is the thing. Some of you guys with parents or people that depend on you, it's an investment for the future. It might be towards them buying their house when they turn 18, or it might be you might want to move abroad. Because let's be honest, the world is a pretty crazy place right now. And investing in a future, whether it's through the housing market or stocks and shares or businesses, whatever, we have to level up. You have to level up. Okay. So yeah. So anyway, I just want to say, if you've reached this far, thanks so much for watching the video. I know I've been rambling. I like rambling. That's why I do these videos. But I'd like to think that sometimes I give something back that is of actual value. So if you've stayed this long, thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Click the notification bell. Like this video. Share this video with anyone or anybody you think might find it useful. And hey, let's help. Let's share knowledge, because that's what I'm all about. Let's let's help build each other up. Okay. So yeah, thanks for watching, and look out for the next video. I'm probably going to be doing another video about maybe the pros and cons of maybe which stocks and shares versus like maybe other different types of stock and shares that are similar, and also what trading platforms you can use, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, thanks very much, guys, for watching. And see you in the next one. Peace.